Walk this one over. I think this is a very smart timeout taken, and they've taken 2 in the second half alone, which is just in 2.5 minutes, just because Community has been so dominant offensively, outscoring Central Catholic 11-0 in the second half and outscoring them. They're on a 16-0 point streak, which is exceptional. You rarely ever see that. Maybe in the NBA just because of how fast-paced that is, but in high school basketball, that is more than rare. Now, what do you guys expect the Saints to do here offensively? Maybe they swatted that one away. We see lots of steals from the Ironmen, not lots of swats, so that was quite an exciting play. Raina Powers taking it the other way. Meg Earn gets called for a game, clapping with a little bit of frustration after that one. I'm sure she wishes she got that one back. Raina Powers does not turn the ball over too often. She is a great ball handler for the Ironmen, averaging just less than 2 turnovers a game, despite having the ball in her hands, maybe the most out of all Ironmen. Marco Reynolds just checked into the game for Armani Connor, which is the second change we've seen between those 2 players today. Now, Mia Lester slowing it down offensively. Let the Ironmen go to work. Nobody really getting open play yet for the Ironmen. Raina Powers has the ball again. She's thinking of emotion from the fans here and the Ironmen bench, but they're still clapping it up. Love the sportsmanship from the Iron, as that did look to be a jump ball. Foul's called. Now Meg Earns really slowing it down. You start wondering if she's going to get a 10-second call. No 10-second call there. She gets it off just in time. Saints are moving it around. Back to Earn. Earn thinks about the 3 ball, and she's going to slow it down despite being down 8. Gives it off to Allison M. M with a risky pass inside. That's going to be called out of bounds. Ironman basketball looking for their first double-digit lead of the ball game, up 40-32 with 4:22 seconds left in this third quarter. Amia Lester is that 3 ball is up and good. Meg Earn continuing to lead this Saints offense. Lester gets that one stripped away. It's going to remain. Haley Michaels is checked in for the Ironmen for Camry Fisher. Michaels is the top 3-point shooter on the Iron this season. And just a pure shot from the junior. Now Marco Reynolds works. Nice spin move. What a move from Marco Reynolds there. A nice shake and spin and over the overarching arms of the Saints defense. Haley Michaels has it on the other end. She's using that speed, throws it off the backboard. You know Raina Powers with the offensive rebound. No good on the putback. Community up by 7 with 3:30 left. In this, Powers takes it back, and another layup from Powers. That's her 4th layup of the second quarter, also, or third quarter, excuse me, also her 10th point of the second half.
On offense scoring 10 points, but on defense she's got a lot of passing lanes. And there's a 3 from Central Catholic answering.
Meg Earn has been on fire. The first half she was reliant on the right-handed layups, but in this second half she has been reliant on 3 balls, knocking down 2 in the last couple minutes. Marco Reynolds tries to get a post move going there, and that's going to be a foul on Central Catholic as Marco Reynolds tried to move in there. A lot of times you see fouls called on the smaller people guarding centers, but there I think a good Malinowski, she's in her spot. That one right off the back iron. You know Malinowski loves to go to that corner 3. We'll keep seeing her shoot. She never stops, and she knocks down a whole lot of them. A near double team from herself on an island here, trying to avoid the trap. The Saints are going to look to drive it inside, and heaves it up is Allison M. making a crafty layup there for Central Catholic, putting them back within 4. The Saints will not go away. There hasn't been a single-digit game between these 2 teams in 5 years, but yet this year, this could be a single-digit ball game. Marco Reynolds using her size and dominance to get inside. Throws that one right off the back iron. The Saints are going to take it the other way. Double teamed again. We see a lot of press from the Saints. Raina Powers, Euro step, draws the foul. They call the foul on the floor. That will be the 4th foul from the Saints in this. Ironmen in the bonus. Actually, correction. That is the 5th foul, and the Ironmen are now in the bonus. Raina Powers at the free throw line. She's got 10 points in the quarter, looking for number 11 and 12. Let's talk about the quarter from Powers. What about this presence from Powers has been so huge for the Ironmen here today?
After seeing her come back for the second half, I've seen this like force of even more power compared to the first half. It just looks like the Ironmen are ready to win this game, and they're coming in with that energy really, really well with this.
Got a back and forth ball game here. Armani Connor currently getting beat by Emmy Hurry, and that one is off the iron, but that is going to be a shooting foul. 2 free throws. We had 2 fouls on the quarter. We've seen a change from the Ironmen. In the first half, there was lots of fouls, and now in this quarter, only 2 fouls. Just a really great example of being able to stay calm, stay patient, and just play solid defense.
I think they've chose to opt towards staying off and not pressuring the ball as much and kind of letting the Saints make their own mistakes and taking advantage of those.
And the second free throw is up and good from Emmy Hurry, knocking this ball game back down from the Ironmen. And we have great pressure from the Saints. Haley Michaels got the ball to Wildy. Wildy loves the 3 ball. Instead, she drives, just misses it, and it looks to be an Iron. A block from the Saints there. That was number 31, Taylor Cook. Excellent block in her first minutes of this ball game. She will be posting up, and she is one of 3 Cook sisters on this team. Something you don't see very often. It's great to have a sistership like that. And that's going to be a block on Armani Connor. That's going to be a foul, and I believe that's a shooting foul for the Ironmen. And the Saints have a chance to tie this one up here with Earn at the free throw. And that one's off the back iron. Ironmen have a 1-point lead. 12 seconds on the clock. Now we're down to 10. They're taking it the other way. Wellborn likes the corner, and that's going to be a foul on the Saints. More step to kind of draw some contact and go in for a layup. I want to see her go in for some layups here instead of kicking it out. She did draw the foul there, though, which is exactly what you need to do when you're taking drives like that. And here is the first free throw from Ashlyn Wellborn. Up and good. Nice shot from Wellborn there. 2-point lead for Community. Now keep in mind there's 5.5 seconds on the clock, and that is surely enough time to get off a shot for the Saints and put them back in this ball game. Second free throw is no good. A deep shot at the end of the quarter. We're down to 4, 3, 2. The ball's in Earn's hand, and that one is no good, as the Ironmen escape the third quarter with a mere 2 to make it past Earn's strong third quarter, led by Raina Powers. Let's talk about Powers for a second. 11-point quarter. How will she be able to remain as confident and drive to the lane and see so much success in this last final quarter? What do you expect to see from Powers?
I would expect to see her defense turn into offense, and I would expect them to look for her on the fast break. And if they can push this pace, you can see a tired Saints team. If they can push this pace, they can hopefully leverage themselves. But the Saints have had an answer for that. They have got a lot of pass deflection.
The Saints, we're really seeing that like fast playing wore them out pretty fast. And so just seeing the power that the Ironmen wield against them is really giving them.
Defensive quarter from the Ironmen as well as offensive, holding Central Catholic to a game low for the quarter, or a game low of 12 points in the quarter. Previously in the first, they had 13, and they had an excellent second quarter with 19 points, only 12 in that third quarter, giving Community a 46-44 lead entering the fourth. Marco Reynolds, straight dominance against Meg Earn, and Meg Earn's actually smiling there as that was a huge mismatch for Reynolds. Amia saves it and throws it as she's catching it. What an just missed. Raina Powers with nobody in her vicinity got the board, and that ball bounces around. It ends up being normal Community basketball with 7:12 left on. That was an eventful first minute of fourth quarter action. Powers gives it to Amia. Back to Powers. To Reynolds. Open lane. Takes the crab dribble and almost makes that one. Draws the contact from the Saints. I'm loving this aggressive Marco Reynolds that we're seeing. We haven't seen a lot from Reynolds at the start of the season. She's averaging 5 points a game, definitely a good margin, but I'd like to see her be even more aggressive. When she's not in foul trouble, she's able to be her true self, and she hasn't picked up a foul since that first quarter where she picked up 10. She can shoot the three ball as well, obviously knock down that free throw right there, and the Saints are pushing it. There's a three ball from the Saints, nearly knocks in. Kenna Malinowski hustling for the defensive board. Catholics as Kate Stolfa went for that one and caused Malinowski to hit it out of bounds. Meg Earn on the inbounds. She's got it into the freshman Carissa Cook. Sees Meg Earn going over to the three. Just missed that one. And an offensive board from Kate Stolfa. And that's going to be a foul on Marco Reynolds. I believe her third foul of the game.
Ironman fouls on Marco Reynolds.
Nails the layup with Meg Earn all over her. The Ironmen have a 7-point lead now. The other way, Carissa Cook brings it up. She wants the ball back and stay inside. And there's going to be substitutions for the Saints. Most notably, Logan Shanks, the senior that can shoot the three ball. When you're down by 7 in situations like this, you want points and you want them fast. And that comes from three-pointers a lot of the time in modern-day basketball. Meg Earn and Logan Shanks proved to be dominant from the three ball, but currently Logan Shanks is posting up on Armani Connor with Marco Reynolds out of the game. The ball gets tipped around and it ends in Raina Power's hands, as it almost always does. Need to be careful here.
Yeah, definitely. They're in foul trouble, and if the Iron get into the bonus, that's going to be something to keep an eye on, because if they can get free throws at the end of the game, they've been able to make those. So that could really...
Yeah, one thing we're seeing a lot of this season is Armani Connor being put into this center position, something that she's not necessarily used to, as both of those free throws fall down for Connor. Connor is a great shooter from three-pointer, as we saw a three-point fall earlier, and she's knocked down 6 free throws here tonight. She's 6 of 7 from the charity stripe. She is a great shooter and has been put into a different position this year and is reacting very well to that. There was a turnover from the Saints. Normal Community with a 9-point lead, and they are eyeing that double-digit lead that they never got. Marco to Marco. Marco's got Shanks on her, just misses it, tips it back out. Back to Fisher. The Ironmen reset. Powers, Malinowski, three ball up. No good for Malinowski. And that's a big break for the Saints. 5 minutes left in this game. Another one of the Cook sisters was posting up. Now she's back to the three-point line. Keep an eye on her. Taylor Cook looks to be open from the corner three. Now the Saints are slowing it down here, trying to find their best shot, but Camry Fisher takes that one away from Allison M. Community up by 9, less than 5 on the clock. Ania Lester slowing it down. When you have a lead like this, you can afford to slow it down and wait for your best shot. There's a near Lester slowing it down. We got a cutting Marco Reynolds, who makes the layup. Marco has been huge in this fourth quarter with 5 points, and it's just a huge presence for the Ironmen. That's going to be a first double-digit lead of the game with 11. We have 2 Cook sisters in the game with Carissa Cook and Taylor Cook, both defensive presences, as Carissa Cook actually had 6 steals in a game earlier this season. She's just a freshman. And once again, the Ironmen slow the pace, waiting to find their best shot. There's a foul from the Saints. That was Emmy Hurry on the foul, someone we saw a lot of at the start of the game, and she's really gone away. What have the Ironmen done to really shut down Hurry in the second half? One, Marco Reynolds gives it to Powers. Powers, nice inside shovel pass to Fisher. Fisher knocks that down. That's a 16-point lead for the Ironmen that were trailing by 3 at the start of this offensive performance. The defense really turned it into offense for the Ironmen. What have you loved that you've seen from the Ironmen so far in this game?
I've loved seeing how even though they're going harder on the offense, they're really slowing the game down, which gives them the advantage to really think about their options, have the chance to pass it, and really think about what their goal is.
Brady, what about that teamwork on those last few plays? Seeing the defense turn into offense. Raina Powers completely unselfish with that shovel pass over to Camry Fisher. What are your half? Not that they weren't hustling in the first half. The first half just saw the Ironmen seeming more passive on offense, passing up some opportunities. In this second half, they have really just attacked the rim, which throw attempts, which they're knocking down. Huge. There also allows for lots of layups, which we've seen from Powers. She's had 5 layups in this second half. And then that also opens up the three-point lane because you start trying to close up the key, and all of a sudden that three-point line is wide open, and we saw Kenna Malinowski just drain one. Lester with a steal. She's got Powers. Powers is ahead of the pack. And there's the layup from Powers. 18-point lead from the Ironmen. They were up by 3 entering this fourth quarter. They are on a 15-0 run. Raina Powers is going to give that to Lester. Ironmen slowing things up. We're under 3 minutes with an 18-point lead, something that entering the fourth, I think no one in this building really expected.
I didn't really expect it. I mean, they did display they can go on runs, but I was expecting the Saints to be a lot more passive in this fourth quarter, as they have been so far.
Yeah, they haven't really seen their shots fall down, but more than anything, they've turned the ball over quite a bit as the Ironmen have just posed such a threat on the defensive end. Ironmen taking their time on this possession. That's exactly what they need to do here, as we are getting close to some Big 12 games after this Intercity action. The Intercity action does include Big 12 games against Bloomington and West, but it doesn't actually count possibly the 3 teams that are going to be big leaders in the Big 12 this year. I'd keep your eye on Bloomington as well. They are a scrappy young team with a lot of returners as well, despite being so young. So keep an eye on those teams. Keep an eye on these Ironmen. With an 18-point lead, we're seeing some claps up in the packed Shirk Center here on a beautiful Black Friday. And the Ironman bench is getting excited. Iron slowing it down. They have an 18-point lead. Malinowski's going to give that one to Lester. And there's the foul for Meg Earn. You start wondering when they're going to start fouling, and I think this is the time. The Ironmen have a chance to take a 20-point lead here. And in Intercity, the Ironmen have averaged for Marco Reynolds, one of the big reasons this game opened up in the fourth quarter, because of her dominance on the defensive end. Lester makes them both. It is a 20-point Ironman run. We saw that 16-0 run earlier and thought that nothing was going to top that, and here the Ironmen have outdone themselves in this fourth quarter. Meg Earns bringing it up. Shoots the 3 ball. That's up and no good. The Ironmen keep their 20-point lead, but a nice offensive board from the senior Logan Shanks. Meg Earns going to pass that one off, nearly stripped away from Haley Michaels. And the Saints not really getting much here. 3 ball, no good. But another offensive rebound from the Saints. And that one down, she's definitely not the tallest player on the court. Not someone you're going to expect to get a block, but she got it right there. What a play. That's going to be a timeout. We're going to get a full substitution from the Saints. We see Emma Harrison's going to check into the game as well. She's a senior. It's really the spokesperson for the Ironmen. You love these end of the games where you see everybody start to come in that doesn't necessarily get the attention. They're big practice players. I know all that. I love to see it. What about you guys?
It's really cool to see Feeney talk with the Ironmen. They got a really good lead right now, but it's also a matter of let's stay in the game, keep that lead, and just watch out for the Saints.
You know, Feeney's my AP Lit teacher, and I think I'm sure they had a great talk at halftime led by Feeney. And it looks like the Ironmen are going to dribble this one out as long as it doesn't get stolen. Emma Harrison's got the ball, gets that one off. And now Wilde gives it over to Haley Michaels. Michaels to Harrison, back to Michaels. And we're starting to hear some cheering in the Shirk Center as the Ironmen are playing takeaway with the Saints, up 64-46. And a win here is going to bring them to their 4th straight Intercity championship. What an accomplishment from the Ironmen. Thoughts on this game and the 4th straight Intercity championship. How are we feeling?
I think the Iron, with this win, made a
How are you feeling with this Intercity championship?
That's the 4th win for Ironmen and Intercity, and it's really cool to see their team. They're not afraid to share the ball, and I think that's something that's reinforced by Feeney. He really wants them to be a good team and share it shamelessly.
And look at that right there. The Ironmen are excited, jumping up and down with their another trophy to add to the decorated trophy case in Normal Community. That's an outright Intercity championship. The 4th straight. The Ironmen went 4-0 with an average margin of victory around 14 to 15 points. And this was just an exceptional showcase. 4 after 3 quarters. And yet they ended up with 46. Let's talk about the defense from the Iron.
The defense was so strong. Like Raina Powers, they really kept it tight. And again, the Saints played really fast in the beginning of the game, which wore them out pretty quickly by the second half, leaving defense harder to get through.
Yeah, Brady?
I think they cut in a lot of passing lanes, and they forced a lot of turnovers, and they were able to capitalize on that and move the ball right past the Saints and get a lot of easy layups, which has been a strength of theirs.
Well, once again, the Ironmen show that a game is much deeper than a box score. If you look at the box score saying 62-44, you think, oh, maybe that was a blowout. Points doesn't seem like a lot, but she was a big reason the Ironmen were able to have such a dominant 4th quarter. Her presence and really shutting down Central Catholic. Offensively, Central Catholic had to put multiple bodies on her to even attempt to stop her, which opened up everything for everybody else. An excellent performance from Raina Powers. That's my player of the game. How about you guys? Who do you guys have for player of the game? I'm taking Raina Powers due to her defensive showcase and just a really excellent 3rd quarter where she scored 11 points.
I'm taking Amia Lester. For someone who doesn't have the advantage of height, she really shows her physicality, her ability to jump, to steal, something that some people may not expect from her, but she really...
To everybody on the court and Dave Feeney, all assistant coaches as well. It is a team sport, and the Ironmen make it look like that. That's for sure. We're going to take a couple-minute break. Game of our doubleheader, boys action, Central Catholic versus Normal Community once again.